has yet to take us. So how will this play out in the economy, and how much leverage do we have? Joining us right now on the telephone is the CEO of the Trump Organization, Donald Trump. Donald, welcome back.
Good morning.
Donald, first off, everyone knows you know business. Everyone knows you understand international finance. But if something like this was to happen under a Donald Trump administration, how would you react?
Well, number one, North Korea no longer respects the United States. They no longer respect our president, unfortunately, and that's pretty sad. But you look at the other side, South Korea. They've embarrassed us. They won't sign a trade pact. Only an idiot would sign what they're asking us to sign. They make tremendous, and let's use the word profit because it's easiest to understand, but they make tremendous profit dumping the television sets and cars and everything else in this country. Tremendous, unbelievable, imbalanced profit. They embarrassed us very, very strongly recently when they didn't sign a trade pact. Now they get bombed, and we immediately say, oh, we're your friend, we love you, we're going to rush up, we're going to spend billions of dollars to protect you, you who have been really taking advantage of this country. Why isn't China doing this? Why isn't Japan doing this? Why is it the United States that's going to lose lives and spend billions and billions of dollars to defend somebody that takes advantage of us?
Donald, you've been talking about China for months, if not years now, talking about their currency manipulation. But just like North Korea, what can we do to the Chinese to get them to act, to get them to intervene in this and do something about the North Koreans' actions? Our hands are kind of tied here, aren't they?
Well, I'm a big trade believer with other countries, but not when it's unfair trade. And China has been ripping this country like nobody has ever ripped it outside of OPEC, which, of course, rips us worse than anybody. But China has been just hurting this country economically more than any country perhaps ever. And unless we tax Chinese products, they manipulate their currency, making it very... I have to buy a lot of Chinese products because American companies can't compete. The American companies make a better product than China, by far. Whether it's sheetrock or anything else, they make a better product. We should tax Chinese products. And by the way, they say, oh, but they're our banker. Don't worry about this. This tax will be so severe that they'll do anything we want. We have the cards. They don't have the cards. Now when there's a problem with Korea, we're so far away from Korea. China is right next to Korea. So now we have a problem with Korea and China, which could solve the problem with one phone call because North Korea is totally subservient to China. They choose not to do it. Why? Probably because they want to embarrass the United States.
You know, it's interesting because when you were making waves about a month ago saying that you might in fact run for president in 2012, your main platform was China.
No, that's not my main platform.
Well, but it was one of the main things that you wanted to talk about, and now here we are talking about it.
My main platform would be, and if I ever decide to do it, but my main platform would be that this country is no longer respected. We're no longer respected by the rest of the world. We're a whipping post. OPEC sets the price of oil, and we pay it. And if it weren't for us, frankly, OPEC wouldn't even exist. We protected these countries for years. Kuwait wouldn't exist. Kuwait was taken over. It was taken over by Saddam Hussein. We handed it back to him for nothing. So I say this. Korea has treated us, South Korea has treated us very, very badly. Make them sign the trade pact that we want, not the trade pact that they want, or make them pay for this defense.
So you sound so angry, or not angry.
No, I'm not angry. I'm disgusted with the way we're being represented.
You're very intense about this discussion this morning, and it makes me wonder, does this make you feel more compelled to run for president in 2012?
Well, I can tell you this. I am thinking about it very seriously. I love this country. I hate seeing what's happened with this country. We are not respected at all.
I don't understand, Donald. You're very critical of President Bush, and that's fine. Everyone's entitled to be critical of President Obama or Bush. But at one point, we heard the cowboy in the White House was embarrassing this nation, made us seem like bullies. Now we have a president that says, listen, we're just as good as you, we're not better than you, and then the rest of the world's supposed to embrace us. Why aren't they embracing the new nice USA?
Well, I was never a fan of President Bush. I didn't think he was a great leader. I thought that he didn't, you know, he was also somebody that was not respected by the world. And I'm certainly not, obviously, I'm turning out to be not much of a fan of President Obama. You know, I give the indication, I give the example of the Olympics. He goes over, the President of the United States goes over to get the Olympics, and then he doesn't get it. Who would go over there as a president without having a wink? Okay, you come over here, Mr. President, we're going to give it. Now, when he went over to get the Olympics, he came back without it. It's unheard of. You would have thought that the president would have said, wink at me, and I'm going. In the meantime, they announce Brazil. This is not respect for this country.
Donald, if it's not you, who do you want to see run this country in 2012?
Well, I don't want to say. I am thinking about doing something, and I'm very disgusted with what's going on. I love this country, and I hate to see what's going on.
Would you say February is a time in which you'll decide in or out?
I would say a little bit later than that.
Okay, a little bit later.
Yeah.
And ultimately, these polls and these websites that are out that are taking a poll of the people and taking the pulse of the people, will they ultimately decide whether you're in or not?
Well, so far they're very, very strong. One came out 71% in favor of Trump the other day. You know, I'm a really good businessman, a really good developer, but I'm getting these polls. But look, I'm expressing the wish of most of the people. They don't like to see Korea rip us off, and then we immediately go to their defense like a bunch of jerks. Let them sign the trade agreement that we want, not the trade agreement that they want. And by the way, let them pay for their defense. They are so rich. They are making so much money selling us television sets, by the way. Let them pay for their defense. Let them pay us for this defense.
And we got 20,000 troops just sitting there right now as sitting ducks.
21,000 troops are sitting there,
Right.
and boy, I'll tell you what, with millions of soldiers on each side, those guys are in trouble.
And Donald, are you making the turkey again this year?
I'll be at the Mar-a-Lago Club in Palm Beach, Florida.
Okay.
All
We're
right,
coming.
a very animated and intense Donald Trump this morning. Great to talk to you as always. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much.
All right, 9 minutes after the top of the
Sounds
hour.
like he's in. That's all I'm going to say.
I think he is.
Yeah, sounds like he is, and it could be very interesting.
I dare you to challenge him. Meanwhile, it is the busiest travel day of the year, as you know.